Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Spoiler Alert, brought to you by General Failure Podcast. As you know, I'm Dom, and I've got with me CJ here.
Hello.
And today, we're going to be spoiling X-Men Apocalypse for you.
Anything from this point on, if you haven't seen the movie, just turn it off.
Yeah.
Just turn it off.
So, X-Men Apocalypse came out sometime
Thursday,
whatever date that will happen to be, May 26th, 5th,
There you go.
something like
26th,
that.
yeah.
We both saw it last night together, and tell me what you thought of it.
First impressions, I definitely enjoyed the movie.
Yes.
So, I mean, full right, I enjoyed exactly what it was and what it was meant to be, but there were a lot of, not going to say a lot of issues, but there were unenjoyable parts of the movie.
Right. I feel the same way. Like, I have a lot of good things to say about it, but I have a lot of bad things to say about it, too.
Right.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of the parts that I found unenjoyable actually all revolved around the character Apocalypse himself.
Like what?
Like any of the early scenes with Apocalypse, where he's like gaining his followers and just like everything was just the scenes itself were so weird.
Like when he touched the TV and he was like, learning.
Yeah, like just like, and the thing is, I know Oscar Isaac is an amazing actor, and it's just like, I don't know if it was how he was directed or how he decided to try and portray this character, but like the whole the learning thing and like, what are you doing? I'm making you more powerful. And she's like, ah, and they're like, all right.
Well, one of the things that I didn't like was that he like convinced people to go with him instead of what he always did is just like, you're his puppet now. Like, he goes with you against your will.
Right.
You don't have a choice. So even if you don't want to do it, you are now his horseman. But he was kind of just like, hey, kids, come with me. And like, they were like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know any better.
And he went in search of the most powerful mutants.
Yeah.
And he found the most powerful mutants. Storm, Xavier, Magneto, but Psylocke and Angel?
Yeah.
Not so much.
Well, Angel always was one of his...
He was. I mean...
his horsemen.
I think he was Death.
Probably. I have no idea.
Yeah,
But, like,
I don't know who was meant to
that's
be who.
why, that's why he became Archangel.
Right.
But, yeah, Psylocke was a weird choice. I'm not against the choice because I like Psylocke as a character. I think she has some really cool stuff, but it was strange.
Yeah, Olivia Munn, I don't know, I just think Olivia Munn could have done a better job.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks Olivia Munn could have done a better job.
You've mentioned the accent.
Yes.
The fact that Psylocke is...
British. Very British. Like,
Very.
But it's not just like, oh, she's British, like the way like Xavier is British. Like, he's just, whatever. But like, actually Xavier was born in America, but let's not go into that. Like, I don't know, I feel like her, where she's from kind of really defines her as a character. Like, being British is really part of her character.
Yeah.
And they had a dialect coach on the movie, and every single person in the movie had a great accent. Sophie Turner did a really, really good American accent, and Rose Byrne, who plays Moira.
Moira. Okay.
Yeah. Her accent was always great. Storm, she's an American, and her Kenyan accent was fucking awesome. It was
She
dead
did a very
on.
good job.
And every single person has a great accent right to their
Nightcrawler's
character.
German, yeah.
Nightcrawler's accent was great. And then you have Olivia Munn, who just didn't try.
Yeah.
It reminded me of X-Men Origins Wolverine with Gambit, where he has a Cajun accent, kind of, for like 10 minutes, and then it goes Canadian, and then it goes American, and I don't know what Taylor Kitsch is doing at all.
Yeah. I will definitely agree with that. Can we quickly touch upon the fact that this entire movie all comes back to being Moira's fault?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And nobody even
fault.
talks about that.
Nope.
Like, these worshippers, all they're doing is praying, and then Moira's like, oh, I'm going to break in and let the sunlight in, which just happened to power the pyramid thing that brought Apocalypse back to life.
I mean, to be fair, she didn't know, but yeah, it's all her fault.
Right.
Everything happened because of her. Because she had to be nosy.
Right.
I don't want to say that I disliked Apocalypse, but he was really intense for a lot of it. And the whole movie was really intense. Like, it was a lot darker than any of the other X-Men movies.
Right.
Like, there was a lot of just, like, blood. There's blood everywhere for a lot of it. There was a lot of, like, really dark dreams and dark moments of it. So I kind of liked that. It was definitely a different take on X-Men. But, yeah, Apocalypse himself seemed more... I don't know. He just seemed kind of dull.
He also didn't seem like he was the main focus of the movie.
Right.
Which it was called Age of Apocalypse. You think it would have been about Apocalypse, but what I was saying earlier, one of the reasons what I liked about the movie is it felt like a stepping stone onto more bigger and better X-Men things. Especially like First Class was an excellent introduction back into X-Men. Days of Future Past was an excellent, I'm sorry, like apology letter. Let me reset everything from Bryan Singer.
Brett Ratner. Bryan Singer is the good one.
Bryan Singer, right. And then this one, Age of Apocalypse, was just so much more of there's not going to be much story here, but we're reintroducing the characters you knew from the original movies, you know, Jean Grey and Cyclops and Nightcrawler and Storm. We're going to bring them all back, but we're going to bring them back with new, fresh, you know, actors.
And it seems like they're setting up for, like, Second Class, like First Class Part 2. Like, you know, the original actual First Class of X-Men was Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, Cyclops, and Angel.
Yep.
And then they killed Angel.
Right.
Like, they're setting up for it. They should have introduced Iceman again, but I'm okay with that. But they had almost the whole team together, and then they killed Angel.
Some people think he's not dead.
I think he's dead. I don't think he's dead. They never, like, showed him dead.
They just showed him, like, unconscious, and he said, like, you know, Apocalypse was, like, weak, and just walked away
exactly.
from him.
So there's a very good shot that he's still alive.
It's possible. I mean, they really didn't kill many people. They only killed Havoc to
further the Cyclops storyline, I think.
I guess.
Just to put, like, hey, look, Cyclops.
Yeah, let's give him a little bit more. But, I mean, all right, so what were your top moments?
My top moments were, I thought, well, first of all, I liked all the new characters. Most of the new characters. Nightcrawler, I think, was the best character they did.
I'm still a little disappointed that they did, like, the angelic scrawling all over us. I just feel like it's over the top. Like, just
I can understand.
Just make him blue and fuzzy, and I'm done.
But as a character, I thought he was the best character they had.
Great comedic breaks.
Right, comedic breaks. He was really well acted, and he didn't need that much backstory where you kind of knew who he was and what he was.
They mentioned the circus thing. We know he's German. He's doing a lot of praying, so he has that, like, I was going to be a priest kind of thing.
Exactly.
Which was really good. But I like how they kept him goofy. You know? Like, he was Nightcrawler. He was Kurt Wagner.
He was kind of a child.
Yeah.
You know, and that worked. That's I think that he was the best character. The best moment in the whole movie was at the end when Jean Grey went Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they did that because I thought the way that they were setting it up, I really thought Xavier was going to kill Apocalypse. And as much as Xavier is my favorite X-Men character, I didn't want that to happen.
I don't know. I thought this was going to be Jean's movie.
I didn't know.
Especially with, like, her whole, like, the prophecy and the dreams that she was having. It did really feel like it was going to be, this is Jean's movie, this is Jean's story. And
she is the one who's powerful enough to kill him, though.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it was her who did it.
Yeah. And I'm really curious now, especially because the fact that, you know, Apocalypse was like, all is revealed. And then he just, you know, gets, like, blown up by the Phoenix Force. So it's like, okay, what's the next movie going to be? Is it going to be a Phoenix Force movie?
Right. I think I've heard that they want to do Phoenix Force, but I think that they should do, like I said, a Second Class to set up the new group of mutants and maybe go into their backstory because you didn't. Maybe it's just because we know Nightcrawler that we know enough about him where he didn't need one, but go into his backstory, go into Storm's backstory because I'm interested. She was in Egypt. She's from Kenya.
Right.
Where did that come from? How did that happen?
Why
I
was
want to
she
know
there?
that. Yeah. We don't need to know anything else about Cyclops, I don't think.
No, we got
enough Cyclops.
and everyone always feels like they have enough Cyclops.
Yeah, but they showed enough of his backstory where he was getting bullied in school. He blew up the school.
How did that kid not die?
I don't know.
All right.
Because he hit the I don't know.
No, he got blown back into a porcelain wall.
Yep.
Like, I honestly thought he was going to kill that kid. And the kid just, like, gets up and just, like, brushes himself. Like, what was that? Oh, my God.
That kind of hurt.
It's like, really? How did he not die?
I don't know. But he should have died.
But his story, he's definitely set up and everything.
Yeah. But I do want to know more about Storm. I want to know more about Jean Grey because the only Jean Grey backstory we've gotten has been from X3.
Right.
Where they really just went to her house and were basically just like, come with us. Mm-hmm. And that was really it. So I want to know more about her backstory.
And I'm they went in a completely different way with her this time, between her relationship with Xavier, because I feel like Xavier was always like, I'm going to block your powers. I'm going to hold you back because the Phoenix Force is too powerful. Or I know there's a very powerful force inside of you, so we're going to keep it at bay. But in this movie, he was like, let it go, Jean, let it go. Yeah. And the Phoenix Force came out.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's just a testament to how young and immature he still is.
Maybe.
And maybe this was like a stepping stone to like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Now let's take it down, because she could just go crazy from now.
I think one of my highest points, and a lot of people felt it was unnecessary, I love Quicksilver. Like, I've never been a huge Quicksilver fan, but these movies, like the way they shoot these scenes and Peter Maximoff as a character, I don't know, there's just something about him. I just love him.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I don't feel that way.
You don't?
I like Quicksilver. I think he's actually a really good character. I think he's got really good comedic breaks too. I felt the comedy in the whole movie, for the most part, with the exception of Nightcrawler, was a little bit forced.
I do agree.
Yeah.
It did seem, especially that last scene with Nightcrawler, like it felt like such a powerful scene, and then like he gets up and is like, you know, trying to be the funny guy.
Exactly.
And
but
it did seem like it broke the tension in a bad way.
Yeah. I felt that the Quicksilver scene was bad from a point of, it's the exact same thing we saw in the last movie, just in a different setting.
Right.
And it looked worse.
Really?
The CGI in it was really terrible, to the point where it just made me feel like I was watching a cartoon.
I don't know.
I didn't like the CGI in the whole movie.
No, I agree.
There was a lot of bad CGI in the movie.
Especially when the buildings were flying around.
Right.
I thought, or not the buildings, the
metal was flying around at the end?
The metal, and when the shipping
shipping containers,
the shipping containers looked terrible. I don't know what that was about.
When Magneto was in his ball, and Mystique and Quicksilver were talking to him, and you could see like the metal flying around behind him, I was like, this is one of the worst looking things I've ever seen. It looked really bad.
That definitely, I mean, to me, that was my high point, because I liked that comedy. I liked that little break that they did. But that whole stretch of scenes definitely felt too convenient. It was kind of like Quicksilver was like, all right, I'm going to go see my dad. I'm going to find Xavier. And of course, the minute he gets to the X Mansion, Havoc blows it up trying to kill Apocalypse. And then right after that happens, Stryker shows up, and it's just like, well, we pinpointed it to this point. Of course. Knew that this massive energy was happening. It's like everything just felt so convenient for the story.
Yeah, to me, it just seems like we already saw that. Like, if they did something else with it, I would have been fine. But it was the same thing. Yeah, like he basically just stopped time, did a bunch of funny things, you know, saved people, hurt people, whatever he happened to do, to a soundtrack of that decade. Like in the first movie, I don't remember what song they played in the first movie.
It was "Time in a Bottle."
Okay, there you go.
So that was very 70s,
and now they went straight 80s with. Was it "Sweet Dreams" that they did?
Yeah, no, he showed up to "Sweet Dreams."
He showed up to "Sweet Dreams." Okay.
I don't remember if that was.
I don't remember, but it was like the same exact thing. Where like they put on a soundtrack to remind you that this is the decade you're in, and then he zipped around and did a bunch of stuff, and then at the very end, it sped up and everything happened in real time, and I was just like. It didn't need. I felt like it didn't need to happen.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. That's what it was about it.
Yeah,
it added to the funness of the movie. But I almost would love to rewatch the movie with all of the Apocalypse scenes edited out from the beginning of the movie.
Like just no Apocalypse at all.
Right. Just like the maybe the very beginning to get that, and then getting rid of the whole like. Creating his followers,
right? Finding the Horsemen,
and then just at the point where maybe because even with Magneto, like it just seems so weird, and especially like their one use of the F word, where he's just like, "Who the fuck are you?" Yes. It's like
that was the beginning of the forced humor for me. I was like, "That's so out of character," and it just seemed, And then like right after that, they had another joke, like immediately after. And I was kind of just like, I don't know. It seemed like they had too much contrast between like really dark and serious tones to like kind of silly and weird stuff. And that didn't mesh that well to me.
And then being on the topic of Magneto, again, with the convenience of somebody's going to die in a steel mill. So he saves the person. And then everyone's like, oh no, we think this is Magneto. And they kill his family with one wooden arrow.
Yes.
Like, it's so convenient that he just, like, randomly lets go of the bow and arrow and shoots not just his daughter, but his daughter and his wife with the same arrow.
And it was even worse because it was kind of his fault.
Yes.
Because of... Actually, it wasn't his fault. It was his daughter's fault. The birds and everything. She can call the birds.
He should have just said, take her away. Take her away.
Exactly.
And,
instead, she's got to be all grown up and, I'm going to save you, Dad, and then end up getting herself and her mom killed. Yeah, I agree. It was so convenient to further his plot. Like he was giving herself up.
Yeah. She should have just taken the daughter away.
Yep. But... Yeah, look how well he's doing. He's got a wife and daughter. Oh, now his revenge is back. And it's just okay. We knew that was going to happen at some point.
Yeah. I think the low point for me, which is something that I was kind of disappointed about, there were a lot of the themes in the movie being, of course, Xavier's hope for humanity is always going to reign true, but also... Family was such a big theme with this, and we got the family with, Xavier's family being all the students and
Magneto's dead family.
Magneto's dead family. And it's you still have family,
but then also they had a lot of flashbacks to World War II, and he kept remembering, and a lot of what he did was basically vengeance for you killed my parents, this is what you deserve, humanity. So very family tied there too.
But then they didn't talk about Nightcrawler and Magneto. I mean, it could
not Magneto, Mystique.
Mystique, right? Yeah. Nightcrawler and Mystique. It's it could have happened so easily, and it would have connected to the whole theme of this movie.
And not only that, but they set it up.
Yeah, he saved her, or she saved him.
She saved him, but from the very beginning, from First Class, she's a good guy, and Azazel is a bad guy. Why would you have Azazel in a movie? He's not a great character,
right?
So then she goes over to the bad guy team right in time for when he should be born. There's, it's clearly there. They're on the same team, mother and father. We know what happens. And
the math works out.
Yep, the math works out. That was 1962. Azazel was killed in 1963. So sometime between there, Nightcrawler was born. And here's 20 years later. He's 20 years old, about in the movie. We can call him 20. Everything's right there.
And how could she not know that is... She has to know it's her son.
Yeah.
She gave birth to this blue-tailed thing, and even all these people, they all knew Azazel, and you think they would, wasn't Azazel, he could teleport, and didn't he
had that exact tail and the ears.
Yeah, it's how did
the same
nobody...
face shape,
how did nobody make that connection?
It was it wasn't even a missed opportunity. Yeah. It was kind of a slap in the face.
Yeah, and even when he comes in, and... When Beast is talking to Mystique when he first comes in, she's like, "Oh, you're not blue anymore." It's well, you're not blue either. Well, I'm blue. It's Mystique's blue, you're blue. Yeah. You look like Azazel. They were together.
They kept throwing it in your face and then just didn't deliver.
Yeah, so that was frustrating for me.
Really frustrating.
What about you? What's your low point?
Honestly, I think that might have been also my low point.
Yeah.
There's two things. That and Psylocke in general.
Yeah.
Because Psylocke, I think, had the greatest range of good character to bad character all in the same movie. She had barely any part.
Mm-hmm.
We already talked about how she didn't have an accent.
Right.
And the reason she didn't have a large part or any speaking role was because of Olivia Munn, because she specifically requested to have less speaking roles so she could have a cooler fight scene.
Yeah.
And she did have a really cool fight scene. At that point, I was like, okay, Psylocke's pretty cool. And then it was over.
Yeah.
It was 2 minutes, between everybody else fighting.
Something about that fight scene that really bothered me is the fact that she made the whip, whatever. So she can make the energy whatever weapon she wants. We're just going to chalk that up to Apocalypse just enhanced her ability. Now she can, control the energy she uses in any way. But the fact that she had the whip out and using it was cutting stuff in half. But then when she puts it around his neck, she's trying to kill him. She doesn't just cut his head off with it.
But she's also choking him. So, does it determine how much, or does it depend on how much force she uses?
It has to be. She just maybe is just making it solid and isn't actually putting the plasma effect. Or that
I
cuts
don't
it.
know. That was a really stupid thing.
It just seems so weird to just choke him out than to just kill him with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
And for the most part, they did a lot of similar to what they did with Captain America Civil War, where everybody kind of teamed up with one person and like they had a fight with one person who they were equally matched with. I don't think Beast and Psylocke are equally matched in any way.
No, that was a weird...
Beast would have literally ripped her in half.
Yeah, that was a very strange fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed so odd to do that with the whip and everything. And,
yeah. It seemed like Olivia Munn tried very hard to not be a secondary character and made herself a secondary character in term, which
she didn't want
really
to be eye
sucks.
candy, and she only became eye candy.
Right, and that really sucks.
Yeah. Is that a self-fulfilling prophecy?
I guess so. Like, it doesn't suck because I like her as an actress. I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything else.
I mean, I know her from G4.
G4. Yeah, I remember Attack of the Show and everything. But it's different from being a TV host than being like an actual actor. And she gets so much hate that I've never understood because people are like, "Oh, she's terrible. She can't do anything." And I'm like, I've never had like, I don't remember her from anything, but I can't picture anything where she's just like that god awful, and people just seem to hate her for no reason. But like, I felt like this was really the chance to redeem that hate, and
she screwed herself over.
Yeah, she screwed herself over.
Yeah. Quickly going back to so after everyone gets captured after the X Mansion. And they're in that. So Jean Grey senses Wolverine in the tank. I honestly thought this could have been a revealing for a new actor. Like I know Hugh Jackman has said that Wolverine 3 is his last time as Wolverine, and the fact that Wolverine 3 is a separate Wolverine the movies.
Right, it's a whole separate
seemed like
thing.
A separate entity.
It is.
They could have very easily have recasted him as a younger person, because Hugh Jackman, he's getting older.
I know, he's got to be close to 50 now. Yeah.
I mean, as much as you could do the old man Wolverine story, it's just not yet. It's too early in the timeline. But I will say, as far as the costume design, they did an excellent job. Like that
of Wolverine with the
Wolverine
thing.
with the
oh my god, yeah.
And
the hair was like the perfect length and everything. The wires,
the extra mutton chops and everything. Like they did a very good they just did
post Weapon X thing. That's what I was talking to you about. Like there was a lot of blood and stuff. That scene when Wolverine just killed everybody in the facility, there's blood everywhere. You actually see people like getting cut and bleeding, which they never did in X-Men movies before. The one thing that I hate time travel, and that's where Days of Future Past really fucked everything up, because Days of Future Past took everything and combined the old trilogy with the new trilogy. So that means that everything that happened in X-Men Apocalypse is intertwined with everything that happened in the very first movie. And Wolverine walks into the X-Mansion, the first person he sees or whatever is Jean Grey, and he immediately falls in love with her.
Yeah.
He gets out of Weapon X, and now the first person he sees is Jean Grey, and there's nothing there.
I mean, he's pretty frazzled.
I know, but like, the point is always that he remembers waking up, going on the rampage, and that's where his memory starts again. Yeah. And he has flashbacks of that constantly, and now he's not going to have that. Now, it's going to be like a little bit after that is where his memory starts.
Yeah, but I mean, I know no, I shouldn't say X2, that First Class 2, or whatever you want to call it, Days of Future Past, reset. It was definitely a hard reset.
Very much so.
And I could see easily that the whole Wolverine storyline, as far as the original X1, 2, and 3 films, has been
wiped out
and changed.
Rewritten?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see if they are going to continue with that as well, especially since Scott Summers says that whole, I wonder if we're ever going to see that guy again. It's
yeah.
Again. Probably.
They kept like dropping hints to all that stuff like that.
One of the last things I really wanted to touch on was the costume design.
Yes.
I absolutely loved the costume design. Yeah. Because especially with the Wolverine thing we were talking about, but even the last scene when they're in the combat
I thought that
simulator,
was the best costume design.
Like the Cyclops with like the side X with the strap and around, and his visor looked so great. Good.
Immediately you see Mystique's outfit, which, we could talk about that. I don't like that she's all of a sudden with the X-Men again.
I don't mind that as much. Like I said, again, the whole hard reset. And again, like that was another theme, like her being the hero.
Yeah.
And it seems like they keep wanting to make Mystique like the main character of these movies.
Yeah, it seems like it.
But she's still
She's not the main character, but she's always like the catalyst for everything.
Right.
Everything revolves around her in some way.
Right. So I just think that was, that's kind of been the theme throughout all the movies.
Yeah.
Everything is around Mystique. Mystique brought together Xavier and Charles in a way.
Right. And
she brings together them as characters. And but I will say, one of the things I really appreciate about this movie is, out of all the character development, Charles and Eric have always been my favorites with this set of movies.
And that was the plan from the beginning. That was First Class was not so much about the First Class. It was about their relationship and showing how they became best friends and then became worst enemies, but still. Like, it gave insight because I think a lot of people were confused with the original movies about how they were always civil to each other and they always call each other old friend, and it's always just like, what happened? And in reality, nothing happened. They share the same goal, they have the same ideas, they just have a different way of going about it. And it really goes back to, I think it was X2, where Magneto wheels Xavier into Cerebro when everything's collapsing or whatever, and was basically just like, goodbye, old friend. And he's willing to sacrifice his oldest friend for his cause. Yeah. And this whole trilogy gave a good dynamic between the two of them.
Okay. All right. So with everything with the movie aside, let's go into speculation.
Okay.
On the future of this storyline, because I wanted to talk about their story specifically, because I felt like with what they're doing with Xavier and Magneto is now it's at the point where their storyline has changed. Like, we're not going to get that same, like, Magneto is still going to fight his fight with the Brotherhood. I don't feel like they can do that anymore, because I feel like even though Eric doesn't accept Xavier's view of, like, I'm going to make this school a campus. I'm going to bring together mutants and humans, and we're going to live together in harmony. Even though Magneto doesn't accept that ideology, it feels like at this point, like, why would he still try and kill all humans or do whatever? Right. I think if anything, they could do possibly House of M or whatever.
They would have to do House of M,
where he makes his own. What's it called? The island that he makes.
Genosha. Yeah, where the own colony and everything.
Right. I could see him doing Genosha maybe, where it's like, all right, I don't want to deal with people who are not mutants. I'm just gonna make a place for mutants and only mutants. I could see him doing that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to continue on like with this storyline, or if they're kind of just, because everything, it's always a trilogy. They had the original trilogy. Now Wolverine's got his own trilogy. Right. Now this is their trilogy. Like, are they just going to start a new one and kind of branch the ideas?
I could see a new trilogy. And again, back to speculation. So there's a lot of stuff in here that we have possibilities for. We have Xavier's son. Yep. Which definitely happened, especially that whole scene between him and Moira. Yeah. And she's like, "This is my son." He's like, "You have a son?" Yeah. And
yeah. Does he have a husband, a father? That was funny. I like that actually.
Yeah, him stumbling over his words and everything, and that relationship between him and Moira. But then again, that's speculation for that. Are we gonna meet his son, who is this ultra powerful mutant that can basically bend reality? To me, that's a story killer. Yeah. Like, those kinds of stories are just, like, too much.
Well, that's why they toned down Scarlet Witch in the Avengers, because it's the same thing. She's not quite as powerful, but, like, if he's here, she's, like, right there, and she can do anything she wants. So they had to dial it back a second, so she just didn't, like, destroy everything.
So we had that, and then we have the Phoenix Force. Yep. So the Phoenix Force is a big possibility for another movie, and who knows how that happens. So now that she's released this Phoenix Force, is it going to take her over? Is she going to become Dark Phoenix?
Right. And that could very well be... That might be the better idea for the next movie, because like where Charles and Eric left off, I don't think there's room for Magneto.
I agree.
I don't think there's room for him to come back and be the bad guy again. So they should just do a movie where it's basically them... Charles starting his school the way he wanted, and everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing, and slowly Jean Grey turns.
And what would be good about that as far as story progression is, it would be a great way to bring Cyclops up again to be the leader.
Yes.
Because this movie felt very much he's the youngest, he's the outsider who was brought in.
He's like the last guy they found too, you know?
How is he going to become the leader that Scott always is? He's
Right.
always I'm the one in charge, I'm the one that makes the decisions, which makes him the biggest dick in the group. But
a necessary dick.
Right. So I think that would be a really great way to do like an internal conflict.
Yep.
Like she's the villain, but she's still Jean. You know, like and he's gonna want to
save her
in
as
some
opposed
way.
to kill her, which is what they did in X-Men 3,
Right.
except with Wolverine instead. They
Right.
just killed Scott so Wolverine could take his place.
Somebody had to be in Superman.
Right. Was it that?
Yeah.
Oh,
he wanted to be in Superman. So they
that's
killed
pretty
off his
funny.
character.
I didn't know that. I thought they were just like, well, Wolverine's been the focus of the first 2 movies. Like, we got to continue with that. And they were just like, fuck you, Scott.
No, he wanted to be in. He was cast in Superman Returns.
Okay.
And they were
With
like,
Bryan Singer, even better.
Yep, exactly. So Brett Ratner was like, "Fine, we'll kill you off, and you can go to your, Bryan Singer and do
Damn
that."
it.
But so I mean, we have the whole Phoenix Force, and then lastly, with the after credits, the whole what was it?
Essex Corp.
Essex Corp. It's like,
I did some thinking last night.
yeesh.
Do you know who Essex is?
I don't.
Nathaniel Essex is Mr. Sinister.
Oh,
They were collecting.
shit.
They were collecting genetics.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that leads up to a whole new mess of stuff. Unfortunately, I think Mr. Sinister is going to be the bad guy in the next Wolverine movie.
Okay.
Because you know what's coming out before any X-Men ever is planned is Wolverine's 3rd movie and Gambit. So he could have a part in either one of those movies and be the bad guy. So instead of it leading up to the next cool thing with X-Men, I think it was just an Easter egg for
A different Fox.
Yep.
Movie.
Basically a different X-Men related movie.
Okay. And the thing is, I don't mind that as much as far as, because we do have so many other things that are in there. The Phoenix, we have Xavier's son, and whatever else they want to do. But I could definitely see this as a setup for the other Wolverine movies.
It's just tough to not throw it into like a main
Right.
canon storyline because Mr. Sinister is such a big character.
But who knows what they're going to do with Wolverine? He could end up being Wolverine 3 could be a canon.
X-Men 3.5 type like that. Yeah,
it really
it's true.
could be. We don't know what they're doing. I mean, as far as the first movie has definitely been wiped out. The second movie, I don't know where. The second movie is such a weird offshoot in the timeline. Is any of this stuff even still canon if it was all in one universe? So, who knows? And then Deadpool, of course, being a part of the Fox films, but not in the same universe.
Right.
It's
just tough because, like I said, like there's like 4 main like top level enemies or villains in the X-Men universe, and they've done Apocalypse.
Yep.
Mr. Sinister's one of them. Dark Phoenix is one of them, and the other one's got to be like Shadow King, which I don't think they will ever touch.
Way too.
That's too surreal. But they kind of gave me a taste of that when Apocalypse went into an Xavier's head, and they kind of had that little bit of a mental showdown.
Okay.
I was sitting there, and I was like, this would be really cool with like a Shadow King type of thing, where it's more of like an astral plane type of like mind battle. So it can be done, but I don't think they'll ever touch that.
Yeah.
But Mr. Sinister is going to do some really, really cool things.
Yeah. So then that is like, again, like where is that going to end up? Is that going to be an X-Men film?
The other possibility of it is that could end up being Deadpool 2.
That could.
Because Deadpool 2 has to be Deadpool and Cable.
Right.
If it's not, then don't bother. Because Deadpool and Cable are the team.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sinister is tied into their stuff a lot as well. So that might be the most successful route that Fox could take.
If they drag Deadpool in.
Yeah, drag Deadpool, Cable, and Sinister in and kind of made them all together. Because then that, like, I think you were saying last night that Ryan Reynolds said they would never put him into an X-Men movie.
Right. They were saying they would never put him into an X-Men movie, but he said any X-Men would be welcome in their because they wanted to keep them a separate universe. But he mentioned that anybody would be welcome in their universe.
Right.
Like they would do anybody, but it wouldn't necessarily be from these movies.
It could be.
It could be.
Because if they tie it in and bring him in at least in that way, then they could do an X-Force movie.
An X-Force movie, which would be amazing.
That would be really cool.
But again, we would need that Deadpool 2 first to get Cable in there.
Exactly.
So Cable, there's no... I don't think there are any plans right now for another X-Men movie.
Not that I know of.
And the only thing that we know about is Wolverine 3 and Deadpool 2.
And Gambit.
And that's it. And Gambit comes out this year? Was it
Gambit comes out this year, I believe.
November, I think?
Something like that. October, November. It might have got pushed back because there's been a lot of like changing directors and Channing Tatum quitting and coming back. And like, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't know when the next Wolverine movie comes out. I think it's next year. But Deadpool 2 is like still like in question on the horizon somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's what ties into it, because they usually do it to like the next movie.
Okay.
They tie it into the next one. They're not going to tie it into like, we might make this in the future.
Yeah.
So I would assume that we'll see Sinister in Wolverine 3.
Okay.
Which will probably be a better place for him to be than Gambit.
Yeah.
Because Gambit's not going to have enough to do with it. And at least in Wolverine, Mr. Sinister can like extract his genetics and, you know, do some testing and stuff on him and torture him a little bit.
That's true. All right. So final thoughts. And what would you rate the movie on that lovely rating scale? The general failure rating scale.
Yeah. My final thoughts are, it's definitely worth seeing.
Yes.
I might have thought it was better because the critics have been tearing it to pieces, saying that it's a franchise killer and it's one of the worst comic book movies ever. And it's absolutely not. It's a good movie. Definitely go see it. It's the weakest out of the three of these current three, I think.
Which Sophie Turner.
Yeah, they even made the joke. Yeah,
we all know the third one's the worst. Always the worst. Joking about Star Wars.
Yeah,
which cracks me up because this is a Fox movie and it's not, you know, like Disney owns Marvel, but Fox is not a part of that. But they still joked about Star Wars.
And they own Disney owns Star Wars. I know it's a weird thing.
I was surprised they did that, but anyway.
So definitely go see it. I would give it on an actual rating scale like a 7 out of 10.
Okay. And that definitely goes along with, I think, what a lot of people are saying. A lot of fans are saying, not the critics.
Right. It's the same thing. It's a good movie, but it has its problems. But it's definitely worth seeing. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. The first half or so I thought was a little bit slow.
Yeah.
I felt like it was building up to something, and I was like, at some point I was like, it's not gonna pay off.
And it was,
but then it did pay off.
And
the end of it was really cool enough where I was just like, wow, all that setup was worth it.
It was. I agree. And there was definitely, it was cut down. We know it was cut down because I think the runtime was like 140 or something like that.
Yeah, it was not long at all.
Yeah. But I mean, still, it was long for what people think too long is. And honestly, I think they could easily make superhero movies close to 3 hours.
Absolutely. Every movie could be Watchmen.
People wouldn't care at all. But my final thoughts, this movie was exactly what it needed to be without me realizing it.
Okay.
I thought we were going to get another X-Men movie to continue the story, but we got another X-Men movie to push us towards whatever is next.
Right.
And once I realized that, I think I enjoyed this movie more. I definitely looked out for more of the Easter eggs around the movie and cared less about it being story driven.
Yeah.
Didn't worry as much about the character development and the story as much as just the character introduction and what's to come next. I'm like, okay, I understand what this is going to be. I'm okay with it. And all the moments in the movie were really, really good. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I'll give it 5 out of 6 Wolverine claws.
My final thought?
Final thought.
Not enough Jubilee.
Not enough Jubilee.
So little Jubilee that we forgot to mention her in the whole review.
I mentioned, all right, so I was talking to my wife about this when we were driving by. I was like, I wish, all right, so they're rebuilding the school at the end. Magneto and Jean, they're rebuilding the school.
Why
Jubilee could have been like,
right?
Shooting fireworks.
Yeah, a little celebration, just anything to show like she was like part of the group.
Right.
And then just didn't do anything.
Yeah, it just seemed like they put her in for marketing. And it was like
it's 90s nostalgia. Hey, people watching this movie remember the 90s cartoon.
Yeah, and I was surprised they didn't keep her. If the next movie is going to be a 90s, I'm surprised she wasn't in that because of the original X-Men cartoon being 90s nostalgia and everything.
They'll probably bring her in. I think.
But like even with the marketing, like the Xavier School promo they did with her in it, talking through the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so disappointed that they didn't do more. So disappointment.
Watch for that.
Yeah. High notes, low notes. It definitely had everything. But overall, it was a very good movie. I would definitely recommend go seeing it.
Absolutely.
So that's all of us from here at Spoiler Alert. Definitely check us out. Our regular podcast, which releases every Friday. And check us out on SoundCloud. We're on Facebook, Instagram. So check us out. Thank you guys so much. And bye.
Bye.